This is Amud Yomi Gemara in Shabbos Daf Samach Beis Amud Beis. We're on the very top of Samach Beis Amud Beis. We begin by wrapping up the three shittas about walking out with a spice bundle. The Kaiveles, in which we have three shittas, Rameir of Lezer and Chachamim. Lezer held it's Mutagomer. The Chacham held it's in Issa Rabbanan, and Rameir held it's in Issa Raisa. So the last shittas to wrap up is Rameir, says the Gemara on the top line of Samach Beis Amud Beis. Oh my Rabbi Meir, the Tanya learns in the Brayso says he should be mafteach, should be yada. A woman should not walk out holding a key. V'im yatsa chayeves chatos tivi Rabbi Meir. Rav Eliezer poiter bekayvelas u'b'sleicha shal plaiton. This is the Rabbi Meir, and this is Rav Eliezer responding to Rabbi Meir. Kavelas mandachar shmei Rav Eliezer. Why are you mentioning kavelas? We're not talking about kavelas. We're talking about the spice bundle. What is going on over here? Says the Gemara, meaning this Brayso of Rameir is talking about a mafteach. Why did Rav Eliezer bring up a kaivelis? Says the Gemara, Chasuri machzura b'achi ketani. There's a shtickle left out words in the Brayso. Similarly, she should not go to chayvelas, the spice bundle. Slucha shel blaita and the balls of oil. V'im yatsa, says Rabbi Meir, Chayv Chatas, the Rameir. Rav Eliezer, but the becomes of Chushav Light and Givaldik. When it's talking about when these items have some spices or oil in it, then there is an Isser De'oraisa according to everyone. Someone who takes out the minimum quantity of food in a kli on Shabbos, you carry it, chayiv. It's an Isser De'oraisa. For the kli, when you have ein b'baisam, there's a teeny little kli, a flask of oil or spices, and it's definitely very small. And you have the kedani chayaves. We see it's a deraisa. Why? For carrying out the kli, even though you're not carrying out the shear of the spices or the oil, etc. Rav Ashi Amer, in general, anything less than the shear is pater. This is different to leslie lemamashosha klal, because there's no substance at all. So says Rav Ashi, no. When it comes to food, it will not be a deraisa. Only over here is a deraisa because this spice bundle, because this flask of oil has absolutely no purpose at all on Shabbos. So we continue about 8 lines down, the 2 dots, a little bit of a left turn segue into some halachas of oil. Verishis shemanim yimshachu, says the pasuk in Amos, they anoint themselves with the finest of oils. What is that? Laiton, the balsam oil, which of course, well, this is why we're bringing this down over here. Masiv Rav Yosef. Before when the Chorban Beis HaMikdash happened, they made numerous gzeiros. One of them was on Plaitin, on this balsam oil, Rav Yehuda ben Bava was geyser. The Chacham did not agree. Now if you're going to tell me that balsam is used for tainig, why would the Chacham not be masking that after the Chorban you should not be utilizing these oils? According to your reason, the pasuk says, one who drinks out of bowls of wine. Ravami v'Ravasi Chadamer Kanishkanin. It refers to Kanishkanin v'Chadamer Shemizarkin, because the same zelazah that they threw cups to one another. Hachinami daser. Here too, regarding these things, it should be aser, meaning these are as well playful, pleasureful activities. So they should be aser. But guess what? He drank this drink. So what do we see? We see not everything in the psukim, not all forms of taining were answered after the Chorban. Ella rather, says the Gemara, Kol midi dis beitainug, vis beisimcha. What was answered after the Chorban? You have both of these entities converging. Gazu Rabbanah, midi dis beitainug, but v'las beisimcha like Gazu Ra Banan. Ashaychar amita ishein usruchim al arsaisam. Continues the Gemara, about 20 lines down to the 2 dots, who lie upon beds of ivory, stretch out on their couches. Amar Rabbi Chanina. What does this pasuk mean? That Bizman HaChorban, what was going on? Dreadful. They were urinate in front of their beds undressed. What's going on over here is that, they didn't have a bathroom in their house. They had to go out to the outhouse. But instead of having to go out to the outhouse, they would just go to the bathroom right on the floor next to the bed, a low level of indecency. Mekativ ba Rav Avua. Rav Avua laughed. I knew the Chsev, and that's what they did. The pasuk that says, "L'chein ata yiglu b'reish kalim." Therefore, you're going to go out in Golos. We shouldn't mention my name. Not ruin him. Yiglu b'reish kalim. I understand. It's not so nice. It's pretty disgusting. But is that a reason to go into Golos? It's not what the pasuk means. Says Rav Avua. Elam Rav Avua. Elu b'nei adam she'oichlem she'zim zem zeh. People that would eat and drink with each other. And then they would put their beds together. And Rachmana Litzlan, Machlifin Nishasayim Zem, they would exchange their wives one with another. And they would defile their couches with zera that was not theirs. And that is certainly a cause for galus, certainly a cause for Churban Beis HaMikdash. Continues the Gemara, three things bring a person to poverty. Someone uses the bathroom in front of their bed undressed. And this is talking about, yes, you do something disgusting, do something repulsive, one loses his money. One who makes light of and being cursed by one's wife in front of him brings on aniyos. Explains Rava. This means when he turns towards the bed, but if he turns outwards, his back's towards the bed, it's a little bit away from the bed, then it's not a problem. Again, in a world without outhouses, in a world in which they unfortunately sometimes have to do such things. So if you have to at least some level create a matziv of some level of dignity. And even when you face toward your bed, when you go into the ground, if you have a kli, you have a vessel, you have a little chamber pot, less lamba, it's not a problem. Number one. Number two, if someone is mizalzel doesn't wash hands at all. If he washes his hands, just doesn't wash it well, less lamba, then it does not bring about poverty. He doesn't use a revius, it's not the right thing to do. But Lamaisa doesn't bring about a nias. I washed my hands with full cups of water, and I brought it in full cup hands of prosperity. Says the Gemara that Natilas Yadayim with a lot of water is a skula for Ashirus. And what was number three? We're about 20 lines for the end of the Amud. The first line is Visha Ishtoi, Shishma Mekalkoltoi Bifanav, one's wife curses him in his presence, Amarava. Aliske Tachshitel. What does this mean? She cursed him regarding matters of her adornments, meaning that he did not give her jewelry. This only means where he could buy his wife jewelry, and he just does it. He does it. But if he can't afford it, then it's not included in this curse. Darash Rava to that to bring Rav Eloi. My dear say, what is the meaning of the Bas V'Yamar Shenyan Ki Gav B'nai Sion? Says that Shem, because daughters of Sion are haughty. Shem Halcham Ekumas Kufa, they would walk with an upright posture. With an outstretched neck. Shem Halchas Ekim Sad Gadol, they would walk 1 foot in front of the next, attracting attention, slowly gazing, strutting, as we'd call it, to attract people's attention. With gazing eyes, they would put makeup on their eyes and attract people with their makeup. Floating as they walk. They would walk a tall woman next to a short woman. Dafka, for the fact that the tall woman would look like she's floating above, again, enhance her attractiveness. Their feet, they would spew venom. They would put perfume, they would put spices on their shoes. They would walk around in a shuk. They got near young boys. They would step on the ground, they would step on this perfume, and would spray the perfume onto the boys. And it would bring the Yitzhara into the boys like a venom of an angry snake, mamish luring the boys into Avera, which really is the impetus of perfumes utilized inappropriately. This is obviously in the highest way. It's mamish like taking a bottle of perfume and having an attractive girl walking by a single boy and spraying it on him and thereby enticing him to Aveira. Says my Baranisam, what is their punishment? Instead of fragrance, they will be decay. Will come full of decay. Instead of a belt, they'll be bruising. Place where they girded themselves with a belt, they'll come full of bruises. Instead of jewelry, they'll have baldness. The place that they put on jewelry on their hair, what would happen? They're going to become bald. Instead of a sash, a belt of sackcloth. The opening that leads to gladfulness, which of course is referring to Isai Makaim, will be full of sackcloth. Kitachas yofi instead of yofi, amarava, hainu darmiinchi, chilufe shofra, kiva, instead of beauty, there will be sores, all the horrible punishments for the very, very inappropriate way that these girls acted. And we conclude with the Gemara saying 4 lines from the bottom, V'sibach Hashem kodkoi b'nei Sion, Hashem will afflict the heads of the daughters of Tzion with kodkod, with lesions. Amar Rav Yisrael Rav Chanina Melamed, Shabarchav and Saras, they had Saras, Ksavachav, Sibach, Ksavasam, Ulaseis, Ulasabachas. Hashem aposting Ya'aron, Hashem will cause their openings to pour. Rav Shmuel says the Gemara, Chadam Nishbechu, one of them says Nishbech Kikita, and they'll be poured out like a pitch of Chadam Shenasa Pitcheim Kiyar. Their openings will become like a forest. Either it means they'll have an abnormal amount of menstrual blood, or it means that they'll have an abnormal amount of hair, making tashmish difficult. The men of Yerushalayim were men of shachatz. With what did he dine today? Was it well-needed bread, or is it not well-needed bread? This, of course, is all lashon saginar. This is all referring not to eating, but rather to tashmish. It's not referring to bread, but rather referring to whether she was a basula, ba'ula, a virgin or not. B'yayin gurdali, with gurdali wine. B'yayin chardali in the top of Samach Gimel Amud Aleph, or chardali wine. Was she dark? Was she white? B'meisav rachav, b'meisav katza, with a wide couch, a narrow couch. Was she fat? Was she thin? B'chavatayva, b'chavara. Was she attractive? Amar Rav Chisda v'kulam is nos, all referring to znos, Rachmana litzlan, the terrible way they would talk and act, bisman ha-chorban. And finally, Amar Rav Chamar Rav Yehuda Yerushalayim shel kinaman, who the logs used in Yerushalayim were from the cinnamon trees. When they would burn them, Israel, the reichan would waft through all of Eretz Yisrael. And when Yerushalayim was destroyed, they hid these branches. There's only a sa'ira, a barley grain amount of them left. Which was found in the storehouses of Queen Simsimi, these cinnamon trees that were left over. We'll pick up from here. B'siyata dishmaya.